After about 15-ish years of throwing pottery, I realized a while back when I was thinking about things that I have fallen into some fairly specific habits about cup shape. So I decided to draw a bunch of little cups, 30, in at least somewhat different shapes. Some of them are right in my comfort zone, some of them are not. And then I'm going to throw one a day for the next 30 days just to try some different shapes. So today's the first day of 30 cups in 30 days. So let me, I probably should have shuffled them around in my cup here. I have this very ugly piece of pottery that I made that I really hate that I'm using to store them in. So here we go. We're going to pick one and try it. Okay, so this is the shape I'm going to cut. This is kind of based on a historic piece. So let's see what I can do. Here we go. I'm probably going to speed up the wheel throwing process. And here we go. Oh, I'm starting with about a little over a pound of clay for each thing, just to keep shapes kind of uniform size at least. There's a couple that are really, really tall. I might use a little more clay for those, but in general, a little over a pound of clay. That's kind of my typical cup size. All right, so this is, let's look at the cup again, the shape of the cup again. This covered in clay. Should have done that before. Oops. So this is pretty narrow at the bottom and it flares out a fair bit there. Okay, so I'm going to center it kind of narrow and taller because I'm going to start out with kind of a narrow base. So a little narrower cup bottom there. All right. So open it up. It's narrow bottom, so I'm not going to open it real wide. I've got about, I don't know, maybe the bottom is maybe about 1.5 inches at the most wide. That feels like a reasonable amount to open it to me. So we're going to have quite a bit of flare here. I might have put more clay here than I needed, but we'll just make a little bigger cup, I guess. After all, shrinkage! Yay! Alright, so we don't want to open it too wide because it goes back in and then flares back out. So we're going to go with a fairly straightforward cylinder, and then I'm going to push the bottom in at the end here. So it's all right. That might be almost enough here, height-wise. Let's get one more pull, and then I'm going to start shaping. All right. Here we are. It's probably wider than I need, or taller than I need, but I can always trim some off. All right. So I'm gonna start out to get a little bit narrower bottom here. I'm gonna trim in the edge here quite a bit, I think, maybe even more than that. Get some water in that there, so it doesn't stick. All right, let's start to flare out. It's pretty, kind of like this. Okay, kind of like that. And then we're going to turn a pretty distinct corner, it feels like, and go in quite a bit before we come back out. Yeah, kind of like that. Let's see. Let's compare the shape of, let's see, put you down, so oops, so you can see the sort of profile of the cup and compare it to that. I think that's about the right shape. It probably could be a little narrower at the bottom and perhaps a little more, even more colored in. So let's start out with coloring in. I'm a little worried about making the bottom too narrow, in case it'll be very tippy. I don't want it to be a tippy cup, so tippy cup, sippy cup, you know, tippy, not that. All right, so we're gonna narrow it in a little bit more. Worried about how well this will drink, because usually flared rims tend to kind of pour over your lip, but I'm going to go with it because this is the shape of an historic piece, and I do a lot of the sales I do are at reenactment situations, so I'm going to try it and see. It feels a little, I'm going to push it in just a little bit here. In that way a little more. Might be a little tall. Huh. I wonder if the issue is that this part is too tall, because in this drawing it's about maybe a quarter of the height. So I think I need this to flare out higher. Let's try that. I may be hard to fix now. Let's see. We're going to flare it out a fair bit higher here. That might be a little too much. We'll go in a little bit here. Okay. That might be better. Well, I think we're going to take it. Whether it's quite right or not. I mean, it's not like I didn't draw all the sketches, right? So then it's going to have kind of a little short handle, just like a one finger handle, I think, right here. So, okay, one cup.